I don't even know who you are. Okay, guys, welcome to the Baking It Down podcast. I was doing my favorite thing in the world and organizing a spreadsheet. This will be the 59th.
How many spreadsheets do you have in your life, if you could just guess?
It would be an embarrassingly high number.
Do you have a lot of abandoned spreadsheets?
I go back and delete them. I don't like the shame of an abandoned spreadsheet. Makes me feel like spreadsheet. There's a coin jar when you need it. Okay, so here's how many in my spreadsheet. Okay, so how many times have we said queso on this podcast? This will be our 59th, making next week our 60th, and the end of season 3.
60th.
Should we do like a new intro music every season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Excited. Yeah. Maybe we'll go with some like jazzy cafe.
I thought we were kind of jazzy cafe.
I like the jazz. I think it's less abrasive.
I do.
Okay, so if this is somebody's first time ever gracing the podcast with their ear canals, what are they expected to find?
You are going to you can expect to find here 2 non-professionals. I'm just going to get that out of the way. Heather and I actually run a group on Facebook called the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group.
We tried real hard with that name.
We did. There's a ton of awesome content in there, but sometimes it can get overwhelming, or you get busy and you can't check in and catch all the good posts.
You know what? I think it's a great point, and I'm going to talk about at the beginning of this. Let's cover some awesome features each podcast that people can find in the group.
So for the next 4 podcasts,
and then we're done.
No, I like it. So if I like to listen to podcasts when I'm baking, because my ears are free, but my hands aren't necessarily free. So we decided let's bring a business baking podcast because I couldn't find one when I was searching. So welcome to the Baking It Down podcast with Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. If you aren't in the group yet, we invite you to join. Just put in the little entrance question when it says, how did you hear about us? Put podcast. You get instant access.
You say Heather's your favorite twin. You go get an extra day of your life.
You go to the end of the life. I never let you in.
So, yeah. So, did you go through what the podcast breakdown is?
I did not. I just said what they're in for. So, what we like to do is we like to start off with the intro. That's what you're experiencing right this second. Then we dive into something more marketing. Heather used to have it like business of baking, and then but then it was too hard to transcribe into YouTube.
It was a lot.
So now we just have the marketing minutes, and then whatever Heather wants to talk about. Then we go to, I think, group stuff. Voicemails if we have any, which
I know nobody called in. Nobody even texted in.
We don't have any, honey.
Wow.
Then we go to what's that?
Did you do the course?
Oh, course coverage, because we have a course and we like to cover it. Then we have Twinterest.
Group stuff.
I already said that.
Oh, you're way out of order, man.
Gosh darn. You're in for a lot. You're in for a treat.
Buckle up, guys. All hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. Okay, so what I wanted to jump in, talking about things that people may not know about the group.
Yes, and we always have new people entering the group, and I know sometimes they bypass the announcement section.
I would
walk right past them. On my phone, it's condensed so that it's so small.
Hello.
I would not be able to find it.
But I wanted to talk about the Facebook Lives, which you hear us talk about them in every podcast, but some people are like, do I pay for these? Whatever. These lives are all housed in the Sugar Cookie Marketing free Facebook group. So they're pretty awesome. They are volunteer lives from other members who have experience in things that maybe you do or do not have. But it's a great way to learn new stuff, whether it be marketing, business management, organization, baking. Mm-hmm. There's something literally for everyone. Now, I don't think people truly understand just how much information they can access for absolutely $0.
How many lives do we currently have? I know you have a spreadsheet for it.
I do. We have, as of once these lives are all executed, which they'll be wrapped up later this month, will be 115. 115. And I have to add a new one today. So what are we?
116.
116. Each live averages over an hour. Mm-hmm. So that's over 116 hours of absolutely free information. Now, I know the next question is, where would I find this?
Where would you?
In so many spreadsheets, so many access points. The most basic and simplest way is to go to the events tab in the Sugar Cookie Marketing group on Facebook and click past events. But
Can I say something?
You can.
Where do you find the events tab? If you enter the group and you scroll up to the top, you're going to see Heather's banner image. It's the group cover image at the top. Sometimes it almost takes a few seconds for it to populate, but you'll see these little bubbles, and it will say
discussion,
things like files, discussion, announcements, and then there's one that says events. When you click that, it'll show a list of current events coming up, and then if you scroll down that little list, it'll show you past events, and that's where those past ones are.
Yeah. Now, if you want to search, click on any event, and in the top, you'll have a bunch of information, a link to the very spreadsheet that I'm talking about with every past live that you can search by category and by keyword. You could just download it to your desktop or save the link, because this is actually a live document, which means anytime I receive a live submission, I add it here, and people can constantly come back, and there's more and more information. Yes. Now, there's also, if you're a calendar lover, like me, there is a sugar cookie marketing group calendar through Google. And in that one, anytime there's a Facebook Live, I add it to that calendar. You can easily subscribe to it. The link is, again, in the top of every event.
Do I have to have a Gmail account?
Yes.
Okay, good to know. But is Gmail accounts free to make?
They are.
Got it.
You can click on that link in the bottom right-hand corner. Google makes it kind of weird. There's a little Google logo with a plus sign. Click on that, and it'll subscribe you to that calendar. I think I have the event reminders 10 minutes before the event starts.
You do. I get that.
But every time there is a Facebook event, what we'll do is I'll pin that live in its event, but the live will also exist in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. Within the first 24 hours that live goes up, I'll pin it in the announcements.
But because there's so much content that's constantly going up, like Heather said, if you go to the past event, you click on the event itself, in that little event portion, it will say discussion. And when you click the word discussion, it'll take you to any conversation that's happened about that event. But that's where Heather actually shares the live
and pins it.
Now, if the person who did the live gets their account hacked and it's deactivated, or they accidentally delete their live, we as admins cannot bring it back.
So I'd always encourage you. I mean, it's really awesome to attend these lives live. You know, as somebody is going up, it encourages them. They ask a lot of questions. It's kind of a tell-all. Everyone just is freely giving so much information.
On that point, tell us a few of the lives that we've had. What are the topics?
You know what? Maradee taught a live. Her husband, James, is very good at macarons.
That's what I got.
So
got
many
me started,
people
man.
took that live and are now able to make macarons.
If you've ever had... I had never made a macaron before James took us through this awesome live, and I was able to take his live, and now I make macarons. And you know what? They got feet. They got shells. They're edible, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it was so astounding how many people were then able to sell these, which you make a ton of money from.
Heather and I love teaching sugar cookie decorating classes. It's our number one lead source, our number one profit driver in our business. So we ended up doing a Facebook Live about teaching in-person classes.
That was so long ago.
It was so long ago.
Oh, yeah. It was on, it's almost its birthday.
It's almost a year
April
old.
30th, 2021.
A lot of people said they watched it.
I'm sorry. It's older than that. I got to find it.
A lot of people said they watched it and had a good time and learned a lot. I thought we were kind of scatterbrained, but I don't do Facebook Lives often myself. So it was like my first rodeo. Yeah, Heather loves doing Facebook Lives now. What's another good one that we've had? You don't need another.
They're all great. Sweet Pink Olive did one, selling on Etsy 101. Now, I know that's a little bit more niche, but that was extremely interesting. Etsy is, we experience Etsy as a consumer, but Etsy as a seller.
All the time.
Yeah, it is very interesting. So if you wanted to think on how to do that one, Nicolette Lindsay did From Money Hungry Monster to Cash Flow Cow with Nicolette Lindsay. Really great one if you're wondering how in the world do I get to paying myself.
Yeah.
I think she uses the profit first approach, which if you've not heard of that, you're sitting on a lot of
we should almost have a podcast about that.
The profit first approach? Yeah, I agree. That one's a great one. French macaron bake along with Heather Martin. I think a lot of people were like that one. It's a different technique.
It's a different method, yeah.
Cake pop cones with Maradee Martin. Maradee taught this other one. And if you don't like cake pops, it's the easier.
I've tried cake pops, and unfortunately, the sticks always fall out, so I need to figure that out.
Opening a storefront with Jarmina Weatherspoon. It's just so a lot of people are willing to tell you it is hard to make that switch from cottage home bakery to storefront. You're taking on a lot of liability and overhead, talking leases, commercial kitchens and licensing and zoning stuff like that.
Insurance.
Elisa Frost took us through their
She
cafe.
did, in
And a
DC.
lot of these, if you were ever considering, if maybe storefront is maybe in your 2-year plan or your 1-year plan, there's so many storefront bakery, from tours to how-tos to
Setups,
yeah, and
designs.
just like a walk around saying, hey, this is this cappuccino. Like I think Elisa Frost is like, hey, this is a cappuccino maker. It was $10,000.
Yeah.
Like you're in a whole new ballpark.
Spit on my deck.
Yeah. I poured myself a cappuccino. Just kidding. Caramel making with Mary Garcia. So a lot of bake-alongs too, which I think is great in terms of marketing. Okay, cool. This is a bake-along. Now what's that have to do with business? Because it's another offering.
Yeah. So that's how I was able to start offering macarons, because I took the live and I was able to bring that into my menu base. So I was able to reach another target audience that I had not been able to reach before.
Now, if you're a little bit more intense and you're really trying to understand website metrics, understanding website analytics 101 with Mara Buckle, really great. Now, she's also doing recipe costing, and that'll come up this month too.
Oh, I love that. That'll
Throw
be a
on
good
her
one.
numbers.
The
Throw
thing
on her
is,
numbers.
if you can track it, you can tell if it's working. If you're throwing spaghetti against a wall and hoping and praying that it works, you're flying blind. We love metrics. Heather loves to know where people are coming from. She loves putting in a spreadsheet.
I have everything in a spreadsheet because my memory is terrible. It's one of my best features.
My memory is so fantastic.
I'm not sure I didn't eat
Love
enough
to bring
Wheaties.
up-
You stole them all.
I love to bring up the old dirt, the old laundry.
Never tell Corey secret because you'll see it again in about 5 years. But because I can't remember things, I often track it in a spreadsheet. That way I don't have to.
Yes,
And
and
that
you
way-
can compare your numbers month to month and see what's
Yeah.
working and see what's not working.
Yeah. You're going to judge me for this one, but I'm dating this dude.
Did you put my
that's
birthday?
700 miles away.
Corey's birthday's coming up.
Yeah, I do have your birthday coming up.
It's your birthday.
But I don't know. I just have to have it planned out.
Heather wished my ex-mother-in-law a happy birthday.
It was on the calendar. Tell Peggy. I said happy birthday. HBD. Oh, yeah. But, okay, so Don and I started dating 2.5 years ago.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Surprisingly. But I keep a spreadsheet of any time we've met up and the places
You're
that
so
we go.
weird.
So I can remember. But it's when I look at that spreadsheet, which is much cuter, I use Notion for it. It's free if anybody's interested in it. Not my spreadsheet. I will not share it. Unless you want some great restaurant recommendations. So I can say, oh, yeah, I forgot we did go to that restaurant and I had this and we went there. Because otherwise you end up looking, I created this thing, and Corey judged me, but my sisters all agreed that it turned out to be a good idea, a timeline of my life.
It was so weird because Heather texted me one night at 9 o'clock.
Dude, do you know? I know that tomorrow is your wedding anniversary. You know how I know?
Wait. No, it's not.
You said
No.
it to me.
May the 4th.
Then when is tomorrow? Tomorrow's the anniversary of something. Corey, Nate, wedding anniversary.
No, it's not.
What?
We were married on May the 4th.
Oh, yeah, it's there too.
I'm going to demand
Dirty
2
data,
dinners.
guys. Why is this here? No, I'll have to figure that one out.
Well,
Anyways,
thank you for the early
timeline.
acknowledgement to my anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Can't wait to hear next week.
Anyways, Corey, yeah, before everyone thinks I forgot Corey's wedding, they got married in COVID with the raise your right hand into the webcam.
Yeah,
undo.
it was great. No, we never had to leave the comfort of our own home.
Yeah, nobody was invited to Corey's den.
My den. My office.
So, oh yeah, the timeline. It allows me to look at, because you know, typically when somebody's like, hey, when did you go on this trip? And you're like, I don't know, back in 2014.
Yeah.
I realized I kept saying back in 20, like nothing probably happened in 2014. It's just my mind.
Yes.
So I went back to like, you know, I know that, you know, when I bought this car, when I went on this trip, or when I went skydiving, or when I broke up with this guy.
I was there for that one too.
And then now it's just like, and it's really 3 entries for an entire year. But the bigger things that you're like, oh yeah, you know, when Ashley got married and we went to St. Lucia, I was never going to remember when that was.
No.
So I had to message her oddly in the middle of the night as well.
Did she have a wedding anniversary?
Yeah.
When?
Let me see.
I did not send that message out.
What other things? I think it's good to know when your life timeline is. Oh man, there's so many entries. This took me so many things I avoided doing to do it. I have to say something when I look this up.
You do not have
I need
to
to
look.
also
I already
search
missed it, so you don't
Top.
have to look it
Here
up.
we go. To her wedding anniversary?
Yeah.
Okay, she got married in August 7th, 2009.
And you wished it last week?
Or you wished her a wedding anniversary? I said I just texted her and asked her when it was.
I thought it was like I missed it and it was like last week. She is going to St. Lucia soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The first week of June.
That doesn't make sense according to my timeline.
It's a timeshare.
When did you get Corey and Nate's wedding? Oh, it's correct here. 0504. May the 4th. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, I like a spreadsheet.
Okay.
Where were we before we plunged into the dark spreadsheet life? Back
Lives.
to the
Facebook Lives.
Yeah, so there is a ton of Facebook Lives, and you can subscribe to that Google Calendar, which will give you a notification each time one goes up. I also add in any cookie collabs to that as well, so you guys can know.
We do have one coming up, but we'll talk about it later.
Right, and then you have that spreadsheet. You can either download it and have an archive, or you can just save the link and have that link access to that live active spreadsheet as I update it every time I get a live submission. And then all the events are housed in the Facebook group, and then you can search the group as well for past events.
Yeah, so if something is maybe in the back of your mind, like I would like to add this to my menu, next year, you can start watching those lives now and get an idea, start troubleshooting those recipes and things like that. Or you can start, building websites, start honing in on your social media. There's a ton of things. We even have
printing how to set 3D cutters, 3D cookie cutters.
3D cookie cutters, how to set up video for filming like cookie decorating. It was one of our first lives, actually. It was fantastic. Susan did it. I think I mentioned it on the podcast recently too. So there's so many things that you can talk about, you can do. And the great thing is, if you're like, hey, I know something, a little something and something about this topic, you can actually submit to do a live yourself. And that is how we have been able to grow this. It's members giving back to members. Hey, I like this group. I want to give back to this group. I've learned from this group. Let me show you something. And you don't have to be an expert. What me and Heather like to tell ourselves often, probably to make ourselves feel better. Your wedding
anniversary has been updated.
Thank you.
I was gonna like this 2 cards versus 1.
The only thing that makes you an expert is knowing just a little bit more than the next person. So you don't have to have been doing farmers market for 50 years.
If you one farmers market and you've done more than most people.
Yeah, and what you could do is if you did one farmers market, you could do a live and say, hey, these are things I would do again, and these 5 topics are things I would skip out if I did a farmer's market. And that is honestly helpful to someone even considering who's not dipped their toe in the farmer's market world. So if you would like to, you can submit it. Do you want to give the link?
Yeah, sugarcookiemarketing.com/live, LIVE. And that will bring you to a quick form. That form sends to, you'll never guess it, a spreadsheet where you can access this and repost it, because I got to post it in quite a few places. Yes. I like to post it in the Facebook group so everyone kind of gets that notification that there's something you can tune into.
So check out those lives. We encourage you to keep rewatching them because that is evergreen content, and that
really information great is content there, man. Just really, if you took all of those, I guarantee if you could sit down and find 116 hours of your life to sit down and take these, you're gonna have your business gonna be in such a different place, and you'll have spent $0 doing it.
And if you've caught up on this amazing podcast and you're like, I have nothing else to listen to, you can let those lives autoplay on your laptop or your phone. You can listen to. I usually tune into the lives when I put my I'm gonna roll dough out and cut while I'm listening to these live. So I'm not always like necessarily active in the comments, but I'm always listening.
Yeah, no, it's a really great thing. Yeah, it'd be very supplemental to a podcast and very business focused.
So talking about that, it's going to segue into our
secret to-do list
of
secret to-do list. Secret to-do list. Are those to-do lists in a spreadsheet, I ask?
Yeah. The thing with these awesome, if you're anything like me, I love to think of a new project to do. I love to think of a new cookie design. I love to think of a new packaging idea. I love to think of new ribbon.
That's the fun part. The ideas man.
It's so fun.
Everyone likes an ideas man. Nobody likes the ideas man after the ideas man has his ideas.
Not at the execution part.
Right. So yeah, oftentimes you'll dive into, actually they're talking about this in the Sugar Cookie Bookies group, that we get so excited about starting something new, but when it comes to execution, it's hard to keep that upper vibe of like, oh, this is fun. Then it turns out this isn't fun. This is actually a lot of work.
My issue, and I know Heather can speak more of the secret to-do list because she's like dived into it a little bit more in the study of it. But I know with me, I love ordering cookie cutters. I get this little high off of it. It's the funnest thing on the planet for me because I have so many ideas what I could potentially do with them. The problem is I order the Easter cutters right before Easter, and guess what? Time runs out. I do not have the opportunity to make all these ideas come true. But guess what? Now I have to store these cutters for a whole year. The ribbon that I bought, it has to go somewhere. The money I spent, I've got to make it up somewhere else. And that is a secret to-do list. That is it, just explained. You doing something with the best of intentions, and now you have this unspoken
to-do list
behind it.
I have to say, and Corey knows, at Wegmans, if you guys have been blessed
if you
enough,
have not gone to Wegmans.
If you can find a way, if you can travel to a Wegmans.
It is...
They took whatever the grocery store business model was and appended it with everything you'd want. They cut out all the stuff you didn't, but then they tacked on a price. Twice the higher than what you're used to.
You can eat at a Wegmans. You can eat above people and watch them as they shop. They have
bakery, fresh bakery that looks like you're walking through like a Disney World.
Like an Italian...
There's a train that goes over the milk area.
At one point before COVID, you could drop off your kid as long as
it's a toy train. I'm sorry, it's not a real train.
True. You could drop off your child. This was before COVID, so I don't know if it still is, but they could watch your child as long as it was potty trained for the entire time you were shopping.
It is amazing. They have 2 cart sizes, and then you still get the hand cart option.
Like a cheese cutting area. Like fancy cheeses.
An olive bar in a grocery store, which seems highly unsanitary, but I think it smells so bad it kills off the germs.
They just have anything. A sushi bar.
Fresh seafood. You can just point, and they'll be like, do you want this little fish with his eyeballs?
And then you can also buy whatever you want to and eat it upstairs.
They used to have a restaurant on it.
Yeah, they did.
Now they do a buffet and like to go, but they used to have a restaurant. You weren't allowed to tip. Gloriousness.
The one where they make food.
They go walk to the steak section and you point, and he's like pointing, and you're like, yeah, that one.
Why did they do away with that?
I don't think it was a high profit driver because you could only seat about 8 people.
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't a lot, but it was cool really to walk by and see someone eating dinner,
right? And then he like grabs like a wine from right in front of you where people were buying.
They also have a flower department and a toy trinket department. I find myself in there.
Fancy dessert section is outrageously delicious.
Oh,
and outrageously overpriced, and I love it. I've paid for many a $30 tart.
Yes. So if you haven't gone to Wegmans, go.
Oh yeah, it sounds like we're making an affiliate. We don't. Just loving it. But how? Okay, so when I used to go to Wegmans, I used to live next door to one. Dangerous. Don't do it.
Yeah.
If the real estate agent says.
The lady that always checked us out when I went there the other day by myself, she said, she remembered us? How's your sister? I haven't seen her in so long.
I went to Wegmans so often. Somebody looked at me and was like, oh, you're off today? And I said, what? Oh, I don't work here, but the bread's off to the left.
I'm off to shop.
I remember this one kid was coming around. He's like, excuse me, ma'am, we're trying to make s'mores. Do you know where the marshmallows? I said, it's embarrassing, but I know exactly where they are. So I tell him, and then all of a sudden his dad was like, hey, she doesn't work here. But he comes running around the thing. Do you know where the graham crackers are? I said, yeah, I'll show you.
Can I just speak just for what you just said? We were just at the Olive Garden, which was great. And then I go to sit down after I wash my hands, use the restroom, come to sit down. And this lady who's on the other side of the wall on the booth, it's got a little cutout, looks at me and said, can you get our waiter? And I said, oh, yeah. Was it the blonde girl with the braids? And she's like, yeah, that's the one. So I stand up because I'm going to go walk to the kitchen and holler at the blonde girl.
Sandra, you got a table out there?
And the lady's like, oh my goodness, I thought you worked here.
It's like a compliment, like a badge of honor.
I was like, oh.
And if anyone has been to an Olive Garden, my one request, if Mr. Olive Garden happens to be listening to this,
don't bash my
Can you put the restrooms not at the exit door? Because they awkwardly say, thank you so much for coming. I'm like, no,
I'm coming to the restroom.
I'm going to be right back.
Give them some good content. Okay. We've already got our
When you go into Wegmans, past the Olive Garden, there are these Venus flytraps usually around this time of year.
Yes.
They'll be at kind of the checkout area, and I love me a weird pet.
Yeah.
And an interactive plant had my name all over it. So I would get these Venus flytraps, and I'd, do the research. They need to be really humid. They need to be potted. They needed this kind of soil and stuff.
I remember spraying them often.
It took, mist them so they're constantly wet. You can't hand feed a meat. They just got to eat naturally or whatever it said on the packaging. So it took 2 seconds, and the Venus flytrap was $7 or something like that. But it led to, and was there a lot of joy? I can't say that there was a lot of joy after I got him home.
No,
I grew up.
We stared at them a lot.
And I would do it every year. They obviously die off in winter because it's kind of cool here. But it was such a to-do list for a $7 thoughtless purchase. I now had an entire project. So if I really truly break down what the Venus flytrap purchase was, it was the purchase and taking out, okay, fun part, still on my high. And I got to get a bigger pot. It had to be repotted.
Yeah.
Well, that required me getting dirt. Well, I didn't actually have gardening tools because I lived in an apartment. So I had to go get gardening tools. Yeah. And then gardening gloves. Okay, so now I actually have to store this stuff. Again, still living in an apartment.
I agree.
And then I had to monitor these plants. So they grew, and they did. And you remember he bloomed?
Oh, he turned into like 50 heads.
Yeah. And then you got to monitor the heads of these Venus flytraps and trim off the dead ones. So this $7, zero thought in purchase became quite a task list with an associated financial burden.
Yes.
And then when he died, I had to get rid of the pot.
Yeah, I remember it sat out there for an ungodly long amount of time.
This little carcass. They produce carcasses.
Here's the thing, though. What Heather's saying is in business, you'll have the best of intentions and it feels good and we can justify it, unlike a Venus flytrap at the checkout.
Have you thought about the entire to-do list associated with this purchase? If it is a cookie cutter. Okay, you have the initial cost. What's the average cost of a cookie cutter? $5-6. Okay, cool. But now you have to create a cookie with it.
That's the dough. You got to go back to the grocery store.
Icing. Do you need more colors?
Yeah.
Are we talking on Maradels? So now you have to put the time in to produce this cookie. Yep. Now we have to also get photography involved. Do you have a backer that you need to use? Do we have staging? Do we have to go buy more accessories to photograph this? Are we talking about a DSLR that now has a workflow to it? You got to import the photos, which is more time consuming than most people realize. Run it through Lightroom. Again, you're clicking buttons. It's time export. We got to post it to social. Did we assume? And then we got to sell it.
Yeah, we got to sell it.
Yeah.
So the secret to-do list is both time, money, things like storage. Mental space. Here's the thing. There's a lot. Heather loves buying a program for business. If
it is an application, and I will
gonna buy it.
But there's so much. A digital product takes up no space.
It's so
easy. Takes up hard drive space.
Okay, so hard drive space, mental space, because a lot of times
gotta learn it.
Heather will want to buy an app and she'll run it by me because I'm stingy oddly.
Hey, Mom,
with
can I buy this app?
Yes. So I'll be like,
Corey's like, can you delete two apps?
Do you plan on using
need
it?
to delete two apps before you buy another app?
But there's a monthly cost usually associated with these apps. So the more and more you don't use them, you can actually create a to-do list of guilt. There's guilt associated with not using something that you had planned on using.
Domain names are a great indicator of that carried guilt that you don't actually have to look at until the renewal fee each year. So it's pretty addictive to get a domain name. It feels like such a high. There's so much passion and idea behind that first purchase.
It feels
of a domain
so
name.
real because it's tied to your business.
It's the first step for this next idea. But then a year from now, they've almost doubled your rate of the renewal fee. You pay a domain name registration once a year with your registrar, like GoDaddy, Wix is a registrar name cheap. And then you're like, you have to ask this question, and it hurts your feelings. Am I going to spend another year not doing this?
I know, man.
Or do I let it go? And am I willing to walk away and admit that I did not execute? But I would challenge you to say, let it go.
It's
You're
okay.
clearing up that to-do list.
Yes.
That secret to-do list.
I do not have a VIP group. Guess. But you preach about it. The reason why is I know that I could not keep up with it. So that mental load, that secret to-do list is too much for my brain to handle. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to have a VIP group. I'm going to use my Facebook page and use Facebook ads. And those are going to be the two things I utilize because I cannot keep up with the mental load and the secret to-do list of creating double the content. If you are working this full-time and this is your business, you might have more time than I do. So you can have those two and you can work those two and they can be profitable for you and you don't have that secret to-do list and the mental load and the guilt and everything with it.
Well, think about those Facebook Lives we just went through. A lot of bake-along. So a lot of new techniques and new offerings that you could potentially watch and then turn around and offer in your business. But with each of those products, you're looking at sourcing a lot more materials.
That was my issue.
Yeah.
Right, whatever you're
talking about. So
let's
say the macarons. How much is associated? Like what financial purchases do you have to make to be able to offer that in a business?
So it takes almond flour versus regular flour. So then I had to get a new container for that.
Okay.
It takes these
I know those little sheets with the circles
mats.
on it.
Yes. So I had to invest in those mats.
Okay.
Did I invest in just one set that could have worked?
Absolutely.
No. I had to try them all.
Whoever wants one.
Had to try them all out. The containers to Max can be frozen. The containers to store them. It is taking up so much room in my freezer right now. The mental load to open that and see and be like, oh my goodness, yeah, I have plans to do.
Did you need like
these
special
things.
tips for it?
You needed a special tip. But if you're making a ton of Max, you probably bought a ton of those bigger bags than what I was using for my decorating.
Different packaging. For sure.
That's so annoying because I have so many boxes.
Yeah,
Fill in any boxes.
Because macarons is so colorful and so pretty and so easy to stack that they create usually typically see-through.
I have these
packaging.
window boxes, and to fold them, it takes a little bit of a rocket scientist. There's about 1 million folds to make this cute little box that only stores 6.
Right. So even, we say, take this Facebook Live, offer a new product. The assessment that you'll have to make before you even press play on that Facebook Live is, am I willing to take on a secret to-do list that's associated with this Facebook Live? And if you don't, if you say, hey, I'm making an elective decision not to partake in this, you have made a great decision because you've fully assessed what that decision truly actually means. It's easy to be like, I bought this one thing. Like, okay, that roller printer that you have.
I turned it on the other day.
Oh, great.
I got the print maker, which you can find at Michael's. It was so cool, and I got it. I bought every accessory for it.
Yeah.
Because I like to go hard. Do you know it takes up so much dedicated desk space for me?
Oh, it does? Because you have the mat.
Yeah. I bought the mat.
So, okay, in Corey's life, you can see a pain point she constantly refers to is space availability. Yeah. So that is one of the most valuable aspects of her life because it is in short supply. She is a supply and demand. There's a higher demand and a shorter supply of space for you because you have made these purchases and whatever. You have a kid and they create stuff and husbands.
I'm a buyer, man.
You really are taking up a majority of space. I was trying to make that sound nicer.
Sorry, thanks. Appreciate it, but I know the truth.
So now Corey asks a different question than maybe I'd ask. She'd say, do I have room for this? Now I've decided, I call them bins of sin. Do you know why I'm going to say that?
You know how many bins?
Because you hide the things. And once they're out of sight, out of mind.
You give me a door or a cabinet,
bins of sin, man. Those little over-the-door hangers that they sell at Ross are basically a deal with the underworld.
Yeah.
Because you can hang something up behind a door and absolutely it no longer exists in your peripheral.
Absolutely.
I really like the minimalist podcast. I'm not pushing minimalism on anyone. But the concept is, if you knew it was there, would you use it? If the answer is no, you should let it go. I heard this, I think it was on TikTok, but she said, hold up an outfit, hold up a shirt, hold up a pair of pants. If you saw this hanging in the store right now, would you buy it again? If the answer is no, you got to let it go.
If you were like me, when I first started, I bought a ton of cookie cutters because I thought that's what people do. There are cookie cutters that I don't even look at anymore. Why are they still in my house? Why? It's because I'm like, I so justify it. But I can possibly use it. I spent the money on it.
That secret to-do list?
It's a secret to-do list. And it's something I truly do struggle with. And Heather knows my struggle
We've been working on it. We've been working through it. The one big thing that really helps me cleanse my mental clutter is to say, if I give this up, if I donate this or give it to somebody or list it in Facebook Marketplace, somebody else can actually use it. Yeah. And, I had like an extra snowboard. I had all this snowboard gear. And I was like, well, I prefer to wear this one outfit and this one snowboard. If I give this up, if I sell this, somebody else can now experience something that maybe otherwise they wouldn't have been able to afford because they'll get that discount that I've used these things.
True.
And then, passing along. I have I'm doing this one. It's taken me a couple weeks to wrap my head around it. But I had all these video games growing up. N64, GameCube, working on that one too mentally. And I was like, hey, I like owning these because it reminds me of, almost I can reach back into my past and experience it.
Absolutely.
However, I've never turned them on in 3 years.
Yeah, you tried to palm them off on me last week.
I said, does your son want to buy them? And I never heard back. So if I take them and I sell them, or there's a East Starland in Chantilly's, like a pawn shop, I can allow somebody else to experience this game that is no longer in production. And then I can also make a couple bucks to maybe invest in myself. Or I've been trying to buy experiences instead of things. That's a big shift for me.
Stuck on the things part.
So with that mental to-do list, when it comes to your business, wrapping it back up in a pretty little bow Corey has in her basement, apparently.
I do. What, just off-railing you, what are things that you think that to start a business that you absolutely need? Something that wouldn't necessarily have a mental to-do list. Well, it's going to have a mental to-do list, but you're not going to have...
It's called the MVP, the minimum viable product you need to get off the ground.
I would say if you want to start selling, you need to just get that paperwork filed with wherever you are.
Yeah, so whatever the licensing, just, cover your liability. There you go. Now, do you need a website? No, you can get a Facebook page. $0. Yeah. $0, zero cost. And if this doesn't work out in 2 months, hey, no love lost.
Yes.
Instagram, extremely low cost. You can actually get Facebook and Instagram to talk to each other if you're trying to just skim the workload.
Yes.
There you go. Now, what's the bare minimum you can get to bake a cookie?
Okay, you can use self-sealing bags. You can get those at Michael's and on Amazon. And then you do not need to buy a heat sealer.
There you go.
You can use the self-sealing
bags. So a heat sealer
bags.
takes a considerable amount of space.
It does.
It's clunky.
It does. But
they are nice.
They're nice.
They're nice. But right now, the MVP, the least you'll need to invest to get the most with the smallest to-do list, this is what we're talking about. I know we talk about marketing, email senders, sending out newsletters. You can still accomplish the bare bones necessity of a newsletter in sending a personal email to a client just through a free Gmail account. If we're talking about the minimum viable product, get it out the door, start earning money, there you go.
Absolutely. You can use plaques versus buying cookie cutter shapes. You can invest in plaques, and they are so versatile and so useful. It's something I wish I could have told myself way back when I started is you don't need every single shape. You can use a plaque and you can put something on it.
Start there. The MVP, again, we're thinking the smallest amount I'll need to get myself off the ground and creating a profitable thing.
You do not need the Heavenly 70 set from AeCore. I have 3 of them because I don't tell myself no. But you can go online. There's color theory, and it will tell you mix a little bit of this, mix a little bit of this, and you'll get this color that you're trying to achieve.
There you go. That's a good one. Tipless bags. That means you don't have to buy the tips, which is another secret to-do list. They are a lot to clean. You have to store them. You have to purchase them. You can do a tipless bag, one easily disposable. Keep it pretty clean. Now, as far as like low cost packaging, what would you suggest? Here's an interesting thing I saw. If you're, obviously food safe handling and putting them in a heat seal bag or those self-sealing bags, there's this device that you can buy. Again, you got to take that assessment of the to-do list, but it'll shred your old Amazon boxes and create it almost like a shred for a box.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, so then I want to tell you
there's a huge box of shred downstairs.
There's one in my basement.
It is so big.
It is so big.
It takes up a lot of space, but it also takes mental space, mental clutter.
I in my mind, I'm like, I could store something there that would be so much useful, but now I have this 10-pound box.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how big the shred is. So if you can say, okay, well, if I'm going to try to eliminate, even though, it's that secret to-do list usually is tripped up because we see the cost benefits of buying in bulk, which there is a cost savings about buying in bulk, but what we don't seem to be able to quantify is this secret to-do list, this secret task of storage and management and moving this box around. And it is the ultimate question of how much do you pay into your business and how much do you operate off of an MVP? And then you can assess. If you can start off after your MVP, then you can start investing in various aspects that you think will allow you to increase your bottom line without expenditure.
There you go. A lot of times bakers will go all in so hardcore at the beginning. I need everything. That's the way I was.
But if every dollar you put in is equity, that's not profit.
Oh, no.
You're operating in the negative.
Forever for me to get to out of the red.
Yeah.
To pay it off.
And a great app is the YNAB.com. It's a great way to let your business start paying for itself. Instead of you taking stuff from your own pocket, you can create a budget line item. So in YNAB, I could create an Eddie line item. And every month it's going to ask me to have a goal amount. So if my goal is 1 year from now, $3,000 what Eddie costs, it's going to tell me each month that I need to allocate something from my current profits to go into my Eddie fund. That way, I'm only buying something when my business can truly afford it.
No, that is smart. A lot of times I'm seeing people will buy an Eddie and they're like, it's still in the box. I'm too scared. What that mental, I couldn't even imagine that mental load.
That box is huge.
It was huge. And it was heavy.
Right. So you got to say, okay, do I have this secret to-do list? Should I purchase the Eddie now, or should I take all the free training that Eddie offers, then make that purchase?
Yeah. Should I start getting my clients ready? I know someone in the cookie college was like, hey, I'm considering an Eddie. I don't know if my customers be interested in it. I said, hey, use my photos and see if it's something that your audience is interested in. A lot of times in the Cookie College, we have freebie photos, and it's what we let the Cookie College members use to kind of help mitigate
secret to-do list, mitigate the cost. So Corey will create an entire DIY kit. She'll say, here's the beautifully stunning photo to shop it around to your clients. When enough of your clients buy it, you can turn around and Corey will give you the entire list of things now that you'll need to purchase without having to purchase them ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes we buy things we have more idea than we have time to execute. Then maybe we end up with a bunch of cookie cutters for Easter that we just didn't get around to photographing.
I feel attacked.
Right. So really kind of sitting down and assessing, use a spreadsheet, assessing what your to-do list actually is. My Venus flytrap to-do list is a great example of this one impulse purchase turned out into a 4-month-long summer project of trying to keep it alive. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't go buy Venus flytraps.
Don't buy me.
But it is important to assess truly what its impact is, both on your time, your mental impact, and, frankly, the space impact.
Yeah. So what apps are you paying for that you aren't using? Look through your phone apps and go through your subscriptions.
You know what I do? This is an amazing one. I have and I know I stole this from you. I have my credit card and my debit card text me when a charge goes through.
Yeah, I do it all the time. It makes me so sad.
Right. So recurring, nothing sneaks up on me because I see it come from my way. But something that I also do, if I ever set up a subscription, I immediately add it to my calendar as a repeating thing in the duration. So if it's every 80 days, if it's every month. So I'll know, and it gives me a 1-day notification heads up that this is about to renew. So that way I can jump in and, frankly, create a pain point for myself to really ask myself, do I want to pay for this again? Is this worth the mental to-do list?
I had signed up for a monthly cutter club. They send you cutters each month.
That sounds great.
So the high I was getting off it, the unknown, opening the box. Oh my goodness. But this is how I was able to say, hey, the girl, this isn't for you. I put all the cutters in one box.
From this
thing.
Okay.
And I look back at how many times I grabbed into work with the new cutter, and it was not enough to justify me continually getting more cutters that I have to store. So while I love the cutters, I'm able to say, hey, I'm going to cancel the cutter subscription and I'm going to use that money for something that I'm actually going to use in my business.
Yeah, and then I challenge people to go a step further. There's these buy nothing, sell nothing groups. They're really very interesting.
I was the one who brought you in.
I know. I have. I'm not even of course, but I just like seeing when people give up. You could assess your cutters, your cookie cutters, and make a box of ones that you don't use very often. And then go to a buy nothing, sell nothing group and tell somebody, hey, here's all these cookie cutters for sugar cookies. If you want to learn how to do them, join the sugar cookie marketing group on Facebook, grab these cutters, and then start a new hobby.
I'm trying to sell that. Here's another way you can use it to market. If you're teaching in-person decorating classes, say, hey, I'm going to have a grab bag of cutters at the end of class. If you would like some free cutters and class, come on, sign up, and you can grab whatever cutters you want on your way out.
I'm not going to say that I'm very good at printing cookie cutters, so I make a lot of mistakes, but there's a lady that comes to class that loves grabbing my mistakes. So that way, instead of wasting anything, she said, I do not care. If you make them way too small, please call me.
They made them backwards but that lady thought she won the lotto.
And she just wants to practice. Yeah. For us, that was a waste, but for her, it's just another time she can, make backwards fours.
Yes.
You can also flip it around.
There's a lot of fun.
So if you're feeling like your space is limited, you're feeling your mental space is limited.
If you're feeling a lot of guilt in your business.
That's a great one. It is okay. Here's the thing. You are forgiven, my child. Take an assessment and say, hey, this wasn't it. It wasn't a failure. It was an attempted investment.
The whole business?
Why not? But let's say you wanted to add Max. You did the Mac thing and it didn't. It came and smacked you.
The Mac smack back.
Then you can say, okay, this isn't for me. I can ask my friend, hey, this didn't work out for me. Anybody want to grab this porch pickup? Everything you need to do, get started. You are allowed to try something, realize it wasn't in the cards, and let it go to somebody who can
remove the guilt.
The to-do list has been given to somebody else.
They have their own to-do list now.
Right. And I think it's a really great way. And I think you'll feel anxiety. That's the thing. If you listen to the Minimalist podcast, he says we get such a high off of the acquiring of things.
Absolutely. That's me, man.
But when we don't use them, we feel guilt. So we hold on to them with the intention that maybe one day. He said the maybe one day is the most dangerous phrase in the human language because it means we'll hold on to it. He said the secondary part is the secondary shame of donating that item because then you're facing that guilt yet again in an almost more poignant way.
It's face to face. This will be the end of this.
And this is truly as shutting the book on this chapter of money that I wasted. I would challenge you, it wasn't a waste. It was an experience. And now you're letting somebody else experience it. That may actually get more out of it, more joy out of it, just because you've given it to them.
Absolutely. I had a pair of shoes that I was gifted. So where's that? I didn't even have any money.
Is this the tennis shoes?
Yeah.
I keep thinking about it.
I had these shoes.
They're too small.
They were
right?
uncomfortable when I got them, but they were gifted to me and there was no receipt. There was no turning back or whatever. So I was like, I'm going to hold on to these. Maybe I'll use them to walk to the mailbox
Maybe
and
one
back.
day. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. So then my little sister said, hey, do you still have those shoes? This is 2 years after. I've had these shoes for 2 years.
You've had them in your closet taking up.
In a box in the closet. And I said, oh, yeah, no, I've never worn them. I will bring them to you next time I see you. Guys, I'm like, oh, yeah, let me go grab those for I don't know what. I said, popped off my own shoes, and I tried these shoes on. And I said, you know what? I think I could wear these. They don't fit.
They've been in the closet for 2 years.
For 2 years. And I said, Corey.
They were literally gift. There was no cost.
Corey and Miracle, put those in a bag and release them into the world.
And now what? Summer's wearing them?
She said they didn't fit her either.
Oh,
She said
really?
they're very comfortable.
She's very comfortable. Summer has no qualms.
She
with
has
passing
no
things along.
problems with passing things along.
Right.
So I got almost like mental ease that I thought they were going to her. And if she needs to donate them, she can donate them and let them be.
Yeah, I've made this personal challenge, the Dirty 30.
You are 33.
Yeah, no, it's about drawers. So I was looking at skincare products is really easy for me to almost dare I say hoard.
Hey,
because you have this.
Are we twins?
Absolutely. Our drawers twins. You go to a Sephora if you have one, or you go to even a Walmart. I found myself in that Walmart
the
aisle.
Sephora style.
The Sephora sale. Target has now all these like super
You know how much
goodies.
time I just walk and read the backs of things in Target?
And when you buy a skincare product, you're like, I'm self-caring.
I'm
investing in myself. Skincare,
Yeah.
And then I look at my drawer.
I look at my face and my wrinkles.
That worked. But I look at a drawer or cupboard. I'm like, there's so much product in here that I don't use. So my challenge to myself is if I haven't used it in 30 days and don't use it in the next, it's got to go.
I have been using my stuff at a high rate.
You have to. You use
my
it
face
freely.
is so sticky in the middle of the night. I'm sticking to a pillow.
The wrinkles
But guess what? That's a goal.
Yeah, I'm practically glued to the mattress topper. Sticky lotion. But yeah, really like dig into it. I had bought that Dyson stick blow dryer.
Yes.
Replacing a very nice, normal salon quality blow dryer.
I remember.
And I put both next to each other in the drawer.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I can't get rid of this one because it's
still so nice. It was so expensive.
So nice. It functions really well. It has some functionality that the Dyson Airwrap doesn't have.
Yeah.
Then I said, Heather, let it go. And I gave it to my cousin who was stoked. And she was like, oh my goodness, mine was I had a really cheap one. This one's really nice.
When you get home, you will see some of my.
I cannot wait. Every time Corey and I have these conversations, she'll log into the buy nothing. She'll do the buy nothing stuff. Again, I'll screenshot it and be like, I cannot believe you still have this because I remember when you acquired it.
I almost haven't asked her. Can you please boot Heather Miracle? She does not live in our buy nothing style.
I will move into the neighborhood. So yeah, really challenging yourself on assessing what truly brings you joy, even in your business. Mm-hmm. Is that app worth it? Or is you getting enough out of it? And make that assessment all the time. Constantly ask yourself. It is okay. It is okay to feel that little sting of guilt.
I would almost have a questionnaire before you are going into something new. Am I going to start offering this in the next month? If it's a no,
probably not right now.
That's okay though. Mm-hmm. You can watch all the videos. You can learn all the techniques.
As much free stuff you can imbibe.
Yeah. Absolutely, but maybe don't go buy every single
and then maybe make a list. What's the minimum I can buy to enter this space?
Absolutely. I did not, and I'm about to though, invest in Chewa mats, but I'm going to. Okay. I'm just putting that out there. But I love
great lesson, guys. Go buy it.
But parchment paper, easy breezy,
very
low mental
cost
load right there,
and very easily accessible. And if it turns out none of this is for you, that pain of shutting that chapter is a lot less when you're talking about parchment paper.
Absolutely.
And if it's really hard for you to give it up,
thank you for addressing that.
Give it to somebody else that can start that hobby and see it as a gift to them.
Absolutely. At one point, I wish you knew how small my kitchen truly was, but at one point I had 4 mixers. I have 2 hands, people. I
I turn it on.
I have a twin sister who doesn't help me bake. So I said, you know what? Even though this first mixer, I have a lot of memories with it and I truly do love it and it helped me get started, this can help someone else get started.
This could give somebody opportunity to pay off their mortgage or send their kids
donated it to a lady who wanted to learn to bake with her kids. And I said, you know what? That's a fantastic, please take this and I hope you get as much joy from it as I do. Mm-hmm. So...
Or sell it discounted if you want to make it, and then roll that money back as an investment into your future Eddie fund if that's what you want.
Yeah. I love giving stuff away, but you can absolutely sell it. And I think, even though I don't really buy anything on Facebook Marketplace, I look through it all the time.
I love selling.
What are people doing? What are people selling?
You can sell anything. I sold my motorcycle there. I sold mirrors there.
And, it's
like
easy.
I'm not making like a huge, I'm not making a profit at all, but I'm mitigating loss.
And you're mitigating guilt because you don't feel like when you donate it.
Earning space, which I think we don't correctly assess a monetary relationship to the freedom from mental clutter. Mm-hmm. I think they call it visual noise is when you look up and you see a lot of stuff around you.
Have you been to my house?
It sounds like you're laughing on the podcast.
There's a lot of noise.
So, yeah, I think that it's almost fighting for mental health to really assess a secret to-do list. And it's true costs. Which some are financial and some are mental. Mm-hmm.
So.
And some are physical because moving stuff around. You know
what?
I need
things from
Have
your
you heard
husband.
this? I know. You guys have to move soon, don't you?
Yeah.
You're going to really have some guilt.
Yep.
Minimalist guys, they do a packing party. And I know I mentioned this before, but they'll pack up their entire house into moving boxes. And
It'll
then
be a pain in the bun.
He said that's the point, is that it's a pain. He said, but look at how many boxes you have to open up to continue living your life in the same space. You're going to hardly touch any of them. Mm-hmm. He said, and all the stuff in the boxes that you don't open are things that you can donate because you're not using them.
When I first met my husband, he had one spoon, one bowl.
He still has one spoon,
one plate.
He doesn't, he calls him Sporky.
Porky. Mr. Trusty.
I accidentally, the fork is very bent. I don't understand why.
It's so he could squish the eggs in the morning and pick up,
whatever.
Squish them.
I went to their house. They have spaghetti night sometimes, and I invited myself over. And I just grabbed a fork like a normal person is, and I accidentally grabbed Sporky.
But Heather took it to the dining room table.
And I was struggling, trying to eat spaghetti off this bent fork.
When my husband calls me into the kitchen, Corey.
Her husband is 6'5" and 200 pounds and
250
huge man is almost in tears about Trusty.
She took Trusty. I said, you're gonna have to man up and eat this.
That man took Trusty from me and re-washed it in the sink.
He is a man of habit.
So anyways, Nate still has a Trusty.
So be my husband is what I'm saying today.
Yeah, I think it'll really help. Are you thinking of this because you're thinking about your move?
Yes.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Horrendy. So that's what we had to talk about today.
Okay, jumping into course coverage, we have the Cookie College, and we had such a fun blast last week with the spring bake in the Cookie College, which was a day of absolutely no talent required.
It was.
Giveaways, and I think we gave away over about $1,500 worth of products and fun things like an aeCore backer.
We did.
Once at the Cookie College, a shop canvas lamp, a timular.
We did Canva Pros.
Bake diary, and then a lot of the members also donated their own stuff to the spring bake, giving us a total of around 16 to 17 giveaways throughout the day.
Heather was so tired. Heather's face was in my feed every 30 minutes.
Hello.
But it was actually
about the spring bake.
Truly fun. The Cookie College is designed to put you to work. It is going to grow your business, but you're going to have to work to grow your business. But we've had so many success stories that it's great. But those people in the Cookie College work hard. And it was our way to show them, like, hey,
we can play harder. It was going to be okay. So the spring bake was a blast, and that wrapped up last Thursday.
Yeah, it did.
And now this month, every month, the course offerings get updated.
Are we doing the reviews push?
Mm-hmm. That's going to be, and we're going to do a workshop on the Eat That Frog plan. Now that's going to be a Zoom, cameras on, mics on. That's in the Cookie College. And accountability for anybody that's in the yearly.
So what we do is we poll the people in the Cookie College to decide what are the new courses we're going to offer. A bunch of people in the Cookie College have wanted to know, how can we push for reviews? What copy do we use? What should the email look like? Is there a good way to ask that isn't cringy and pushy? So that is what this next month is about. I'm creating freebie photos. We're creating email copy. We're creating
tutorials on how to enable and disable off-label Facebook reviews should you need to.
But just how to grow your business in that way. Reviews are awesome because they work for you.
They're appreciating a lot. You know what I actually read? I was reading an article about reviews today, and they this review website that helps you obtain reviews said like the average most trusted review is 4.7 average
1,000%
over 5 stars. Because 5 stars feels too good to be true, and people typically trust. So he said, if you get a bad review, do not go try to delete it. Do not let it destroy you. Mm-hmm. Look at it as actually a trust earner. And I'm not going to tell everyone there to go get a 1-star review to help average out your 5 stars. But always get reviews and don't be devastated if someone does come in and, hey, we can't please everybody.
And guess what? In sugar cookie marketing and definitely in the Cookie College, we navigate responses. I'm really good at being annoying, but I'm really, really good at responding to bad reviews. It's almost like a high of mine to win
how can I validate this person by also letting them know perhaps there is like a slight correspondence issue, but also letting future people know that I handle bad reviews perfectly and right my wrongs.
Humanizing yourself to the person, because a lot of times we build
it's
brands.
a true dance with emotions.
It is. It's my favorite thing. I will see a bad review, someone will contact me, Corey, can you help me? And I will think about it in the shower, and I will rehearse it, and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to take out that line, I'm going to put this line.
So if you're really thinking about, hey, I'd like to up my reviews game, I'd like to really be seen as a trustworthy baker, if you want to join the Cookie College for just a month, you can easily do that at thecookiecollege.com. It's $68. You'll get access to a private Facebook group where we can actually talk about replying to bad reviews, and then you'll get this stuff that's Corey's mentioning. But you'll also get access to over 66 current courses, ranging from domain names to custom email to sending out newsletters, like we said, the secret to-do list.
The number one, even though I said there's a free live in the main group about cookie classes, the number one taken college course is our in-person class, and it's because we give you the PowerPoint that we use. We actually filmed a class.
You know what's a great point, though?
What?
Is back to our original topic, which is the secret to-do list. Watching us teach these classes can help you assess if it's something you want to take on. Because you get an accurate feel of exactly what is required to teach a cookie class. And if that's something you want to take on, because teaching a cookie class does require a lot of time and energy.
It does.
It's high profit margin because you're letting other people, make mistakes.
Yes. But our goal is to streamline that for you so you don't have to buy all the things we bought. And
you can even watch my Eddie workflow and say, hey, is Eddie something mentally I want to take on right now, or that's something I can work through later?
Yeah.
So lots of content there.
We definitely, if you go to thecookiecollege.com, Heather has every course listed for you. And I think you have a little video.
In a spreadsheet.
Don't you have a little intro
video?
Yeah,
you gotta get a feel for what's there. Yeah. It's only a preview. There are many more courses than that website can show you.
The one bad thing about the college, you can't buy the courses individually. It's either all or nothing. And it made it so it's more affordable for people versus selling each course individually. That could add up. Yeah. So we have it where if you do go to the Cookie College, it'll be like, course closed. But no, it's only closed for individual purchase. It's open for your subscription if you do the $68
Absolutely. Okay, that brings us to the next section, which I'm going to go actually talk about upcoming Facebook Lives. Hello. So again, if you guys want to know how to find this, go to the main group, Sugar Cookie Marketing Group on Facebook, or you can type in sugarcookiemarketinggroup.com, click on the events tab, and you can see upcoming events. Tomorrow we have cinnamon rolls for Mother's Day, again with Maradee, who absolutely slays in teaching us baking.
She do.
We're actually on Thursday, it's how to smooth buttercream on sugar cookies. And then I think I'm actually sneaking in one on Bosch mixers, 101.
Bosch mixer. Okay, I have a Bosch mixer. As you know, I have 4.
Bosch mixer.
I have a KitchenAid that I got. KitchenAid was number 1. KitchenAid was number 2. Bigger KitchenAid, and then I got a Bosch. The Bosch is the bomb.com.
So great. Yeah, I'll add that one today or tomorrow. Procreate design sketching. If you have an iPad, definitely watch that and ask yourself if Procreate something is $10. It's an amazing app for drawing and sketching and stuff like that.
It is.
Dipping cookies with royal icing, again with Maradee Martin. That one's going to be a crowd favorite because dipping cookies is she actually learned how to dip because she didn't want to decorate. And she has an Eddie and wanted to include that on her cakes.
Dipping could streamline an Eddie purchase for you if that's something you want to think about and watch that live.
Lisa Frost, who I talked about a second ago, walking us through her DC cafe, is coming back and talking about handing over control in a business.
Hey, a lot of us have issues with it, man.
And even if, let's say, okay, maybe I don't have a brick and mortar.
all the control of rolling the dough if you'd like.
You can
I would
take
like
all
to give
control
that
of running payroll and paying taxes.
I would
if
like
you'd
to give you.
I would also like
give you
the opportunity,
not to
the opportunity to really understand how a lot of these editing applications.
I would
work.
love.
You can create every live video
to teach you royal icing consistency, so you can hit that
just
department.
Too kind. And then there's just a ton of great Facebook Lives coming up. Too many to answer. We'll cover those.
Too many to answer.
Too many question lives to answer up in this little podcast.
Like I said, we are not professional podcasters.
But the Cookie Club.
Okay, this is actually so much fun / bringing awareness. There's a scam that's going around to bakers, and it is a scam written by the famous Susan Reed, who has taken on a few different names. But what we want to do is create a Susan Reed collab. She always wants $2,500 worth.
Little backstory is you'll get a spam email from a Susan Reed asking you for about a quote on cookies between 80 and 100 people for an event in your area.
And she has $2,500 with your name on it.
Right. She sends you the check. You actually receive this check from Susan, and then you go to cash the check, and then she asks you, can you forward some of the overage? She'll overpay you to another vendor that she's having an issue paying. You'll go do your ethical things and forward that along. Only to find out that Susan does not exist, and neither did that check. You're on the hook for the money that you forwarded. So we thought, let's give Susan what she really wants. All the
cookies in the world.
They have to be blue and they have to be hearts. If you want to take it an extra step, it has to be white outline as well. You do not have to do that part, but however you want to come up with that, we're raising Read awareness, and that will be on May 13th. The only rules are it's got to be blue and it's got to be hearts.
And it's got to be from you.
We'll come up with some fun copies so your audience, your target audience isn't weirded out by your blue hearts. And that way we can all work together to let other bakers know, because Susan has gotten hold of quite a few of us.
Yeah.
We can let them know that Susan is a scam.
And Susan now.
Yeah.
Susan for president.
She's cruising for prison. So. Also Facebook Lives that just passed. Making baklava.
Yes.
The Lebanese authentic way. If you don't know what
they
baklava
look so good.
It looks so delicious. I wish I had the desire. Buttercream 101 with Ashley Gonzalez. If you were thinking buttercream, she did a really great way of showing you how the consistency needed to look.
Yes.
Awesome. So buttercream.
Need to take that. I need to see if it's right for me.
Watching these lives go live is a great way to assess if it's something you want to partake in. If they're saying like, hey, I assume baklava requires a little bit of stuff.
Knowledge
and the trays and the things.
Stuff?
Yeah. So you can ask yourself, watch that live with Rona's Cookies and then say, hey, is this something I would like to offer? Is it something I'd just like to know that I could down the road?
I
like it. Okay, let's move on to our sponsors.
Okay.
Nobody called it, so.
Huh?
Nobody called it.
Shame on you.
Shame.
Just call and text.
Shame. Just send a text.
A little texty
text. Send a text. A random question. It doesn't matter. It can be about anything.
Ask how many cookie cutters I have.
That's good. Do it. No, don't do
it. No, right. But one of our sponsors is Royal Batch. And it is a meringue powder made by Bakety Bake. It's what I use. I have loved it. When she reached out to us, I said, me and Heather actually don't endorse things we don't like ourselves. So when she reached out to us, I said, well, I'm not going to mention you yet. I would love to buy a bag of the meringue powder and use it and see if it's a good fit for us in sugar cookie marketing. And she's like, oh, no problem. She's so nice. Courtney Post. So she sends this bag. I end up using it, and I said, "Oh my God, Heather, I need more."
Oh, yeah?
It was so amazing. Now I use it all the time. So
it's kind of hard to find meringue powder these days, isn't it?
No, I think it's back on the market.
Oh, it is? Okay, good. Supply chain.
So you can get that. You can actually save 10% by using the code TWINS. That's TWINS at checkout.
All caps.
You didn't let me finish check out. And I said, check out. Check out. It is capitalized in the way she sent it to us, so I assume capitalize it. And that is baketybakeIdaho.com.
Next up is cast iron. If you are thinking websites, but maybe the website secret to-do list is a little high, cast iron is a zero startup cost website.
Zero guilt website.
Yes. So they only make commissions off of your sales. So meaning if you sell zero through their website, they will host your website for you for free. It's a great way to honestly enter the market of websites and see if a website is great for you. Frankly, they'll build it for you. So
They build mine.
it's Emily's secret to-do list, not yours. So Emily is in the group. She is our cast iron rep, and she can help you get set up on that platform for $0.
Yes. Fantastic. Easy breezy.
Beautiful.
Cover girl. Endorse me.
And then we were talking about Eddie. I guess I should have said more about this man, but Eddie is a direct-to-food printer from a company that is very nice called Primera.
Can I show you the cookies I made while you talk?
Okay, so Eddie prints directly on cookies, but more than just cookies.
Tell me how cute that is.
Are you going to post that so people can see
I'm
it?
going to. I'm waiting for the right time.
They're going to love it. It is an Eddie printed apple cookie.
Ready for the likes.
Ready for Eddie.
Ready for Eddie.
Eddie is not cheap, which is why we always refer to him when we talk about business budgeting, because he offers a lot of time scalability, because you can just press print. The requirement to use Eddie outside of alignment and taking the Eddie included courses is pressing print.
Yes.
And he can print right on a cookie and now a donut.
A
And
don.
cups.
We call donuts dones over here, so a don.
You want to go get a don? But that was really neat. So they're offering some really cool things that are coming out. They're always working to.
And there's a group I would highly recommend joining that group and seeing if Eddie's to-do list is right for you.
Good, because you'll see that Eddie does require some setup. It's not just like any printer, Canon, is like, it's just a nightmare to set up. So you're going to purchase this Eddie. He's got to show up. You got to learn how to use him. They'll do a one-on-one class with you.
You can sign up for that.
You're going to learn 2 new softwares. Mm-hmm. You're going to download and install the any updates, and then install the printer, and then you got to keep them clean. Like all men. So, do we have any Twinterest? I actually have a weird Twinterest.
Go ahead.
Did I talk about this? I don't know how to meditate or do mindfulness. I do not get it.
No, you've not.
So, one of Don's friends said, hey, there's actually an app for people who just don't get mindfulness. But if I read any book on, business mindset or growth mindset or happiness or whatever, it all comes back to, like, you got to figure out mindfulness.
Uh-huh.
Like, how do you figure out something you don't know? Well, this app called Waking Up.
Uh-huh.
You get 7 days free trial, but otherwise it's $100. Not cheap, right? And you got to do it every day. So, to-do list. But it really, this dude, his name is Sam, I guess. He just kind of has a calming voice, but he really walks you through what mindfulness is in more of an aspect that is approachable. So here is the one today. He said him and his, family, brothers, sisters, parents, we all got together for dinner, but everyone was talking about how stressed they were. Mm-hmm. Like everyone had a rough week. And he said there was no joy at the table. But then he said, okay, so he's saying I'm in a negative headspace. So he said, I'm going to practice mindfulness. If someone at this table had passed away the day before, and I had the ability to bring them back for one last dinner, how different would this meal be?
Oh, I'd be like, let's talk about the
Right. He said you would see. He said that single thought of mindfulness allowed me to take my brain and immediately change where my headspace was.
I like that.
Right?
Send me that. I want a to-do list.
Do you have your Fitbit on?
Got my Fitbit on.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now I actually went to bed last night and I had a pop up and I don't have my Fitbit on. It's not going to tell me.
I know. I had to go run and get mine. Me and my little sockies had to go get my Fitbit from Georgia.
Okay, my Twinterest is, this is probably common knowledge to many people, but if you don't know, you don't know. Airbrush colors, you can mix those bad boys and get colors you don't have. So it saves on buying and the to-do list.
I'm in.
If you want a softer color, you add white to it. The white airbrush color to red, green gives you a softer color, more of those pastels.
I know you have quite a few airbrushes. Which one are you using? Oh, yeah, you need to get rid of some. Which one are you using?
So far, the one that has given me the best spray, does it have a learning curve? Yes, is the Sweet Pink Olive one.
Okay.
It's the most even spray with no splatter. Okay. And I know that I'm bad at airbrushing myself just from user error, and I refuse to think it's me.
You are exceptionally bad.
Exceptionally.
I've seen you struggle.
Horrendously.
It's like a struggle bus. What is your second? I mean, you have 3, right? Do you have more
Let's
than
3?
You
Let's
have,
say 3.
Let's
say 3. Is someone going to think that I'm a
many
runny?
do you have?
5 or 6.
You have 6, Corey.
Okay. This is why I'm learning from our own podcast.
So, what was the Twinterest? Mixing airbrush colors?
You can mix airbrush colors to get the colors you don't have or to soften them up so you don't have to go buy a bazillion airbrush colors.
Oh, I like it. Well, we didn't go to the mailbag, but I don't think we had anything.
We did not.
Good. We're getting quiet up. My challenge to you guys is we're going to enter the summer months here, at least in Washington, D.C., and you're going to see a curtail of searches for sugar cookie orders. This
People
is
are
our New
traveling.
Year's resolution time. This is a time to really reassess your secret to-do list, come up with a budgeting plan, come up with your numbers. If you have new product offerings, this is a time to really sit down and learn.
Watch those lives. You're going to have more time in your hands.
You really invest, really reassess, clean up any loose ends in your business. If you had some product offerings that you don't want to offer, take those off your website.
Because guess what, guys?
When
back to
the holidays start, which starts with back to school,
Yeah,
it is a relentless choo-choo train. After he leaves Wegmans, he comes right through your house. And it is just, you're just going to white knuckle it until we get through
And if
Christmas.
you're just entering the industry, welcome. But it is going to be...
Please keep all hands inside the industry at all times.
There's going to be a ton of opportunity for you to have quick growth. But we want to make sure that you are set up and you are
Gotta
prepared
get
for
them
that.
foundations, right?
Yes.
Can't build a house on a sand foundation. I feel like
Did
I should
you just make that up?
I think it's in the Bible.
I think it's a little kid song we sang in Sunday school.
His house full of rock. Okay, guys, we will see you next week.